Hey guys, Mike from Nerd Problems Gaming here, and welcome to Nerd Problems Gaming, the channel where we go through the good and bad of everything nerdy to make sure you spend your time on the best of the best. In today's video, I'll be doing a review of Wizard of Legend. But real quick, if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications to get the latest updates of new nerd videos we put out here on the channel. But let's get into it. So for me, I had seen this game kind of on the eShop for a long time, right? But never really pulled the trigger and wanted to, dive into it. But for me, it's definitely a hidden gem on the eShop that you should definitely pick up. So Wizard of Legend basically follows the storyline of the wizard, that's you, right? And you're going through the Chaos Trials, which is basically a series of dungeons where you're going to fight enemies and bosses. And for those that come out and finish that, they basically get the title of, Wizard of Legend. And so not some super in-depth storyline by any means with this game, but it's really the gameplay where this game shines. And so the gameplay of this game is kind of like almost a Roguevania in a sense, but instead of being a 2D side scroller, like a game like Dead Cells, for example, or a Metroid, Castlevania type game, it's going to be more of a bird's eye view, kind of like a top-down twin stick shooter almost, but it's still going to have a lot of those elements that you may have played in other games like Dead Cells, or that have that kind of random generated level feel to it, where you're going to be dying all the time. Like I said, one of the things that this game does awesome with is the gameplay, and so it's really addicting. It's super fast-paced, it's fun, it's changing all the time, right? I think there's a really high replay value with the game because the dungeons are constantly evolving, changing every time you play it, so it's always that ongoing struggle to get further in the game. One thing to understand with this game is it's super difficult, right? It's a really hard game. I know I played the first few hours of the game just to even get past really the first stage and eventually to even reach the first boss in the game. So it's a high difficulty level, but again, I feel like that also enhances kind of the addictive nature of this game as well. So as you play, you're going to start out as your wizard, and you kind of have this base set of arcana or spells that you're going to use to go throughout the dungeon. And one aspect with this game is there's really a lot to it, in the sense that you're going to get different spells that you can buy as you play. There's different relics that you can get, and so there's different levels of relics, right? There's like a physical one for kind of like your weapon, a defense one, and kind of a miscellaneous one. And each one of those has kind of near around 75 or more different items to choose from in each one of those categories. And so there's a ton of different relics that you can use to customize your character. You're also having different armor sets that you can use, and they all have kind of their own unique stat boosts that they have. And then there's dozens, if not even hundreds, of different arcana and spells that you can use as well. And so what's cool is each spell kind of has its own type. There's different levels of spells that you're going to use, and they're all associated with different buttons that you're using as you play the game. So like I said, it's super fast paced. Some of them you kind of have as your regular attack that you can use all the time, and then there's other ones that are going to recharge and cool down as you use them, and they're more powerful. And so creates a really cool, unique dynamic as you're playing the game, and you can really adapt each wizard that you make right from scratch to your own playstyle and your own liking. And each level that you're playing through also kind of has its own theme or own element. So there's a fire theme, a water, a wind theme, earth theme, and more. And so again, as you're playing through each one of these levels, the enemies that you're fighting kind of have their own strengths and weaknesses, their own play style, so you're going to need to switch out the elements that you're using. And so it's a really cool, fun dynamic as you play, and that's random every time. So you're not going in like a set order every time. You can actually pay some of the guards basically before you jump into the dungeon to have it set in a specific order, but you can jump in just random as well, which is fun to do that too. And so as you play through, you're going to get a little bit further every single time, which is a really fun mechanic. So you're always striving to improve your wizard, make them better, get better spells, get better relics and equipment. And as you're playing throughout the dungeon, you're going to have a couple different options. So you're going to collect a bunch of gold, which is kind of like the in-game currency within the dungeons. So you're gonna actually be able to run into different shopkeepers as you're going through the dungeon. They'll sell you different spells, different power-ups, different items. There's like cursed items as well that you can pick up, where it give you an advantage but also a disadvantage at the same time as you're playing. So it kind of gives you a little bit more of a challenge with it as well. So you'll spend that gold within the dungeon, but you're also going to be going through and collecting different chaos gems, and these are kind of like the permanent items that you get. So if you die in the dungeon, you're going to still have those as you leave. So when you get back to town, you can actually invest those chaos gems into the, you know, again, like I said, the relics and spells, the better armor and equipment to really make yourself be able to get further and progress better in the game as well. Some other things that I like about the game as well is that you can really just pick up and play in really short bursts. So if you're doing other things, it's just kind of there in the background. It's a nice game to be able to pick up, play 10-15 minutes, and then go on to something else, where that's typically my play style as I play video games these days. You know, busy, a lot going on, but it's nice to be able to just plug in, play a couple minutes, go through a couple dungeons, maybe die, right? Get a little bit further, progress a little bit more, and then come back to the game at another time. So it's really short bursts, which are cool. You know, some of the levels you could play through in a couple minutes, you know, 5 to 10 minutes tops, really, unless you get really good and you're farther in the game. Then you can go through multiple dungeons at once. But, you know, as you're playing quick playthroughs, you're probably going to die rather quickly. Another cool aspect of the game is it's cheap, right? You know, you can probably get this game right now on the eShop for around 15 bucks. If you want to get a physical copy, you might be able to find some of those for a little bit more, but it's really a hidden gem that I'd recommend picking up. If you have Game Pass on Xbox, you can pick it up there as well. It's available now to do that basically as one of the included games with that. So you're probably only paying $1 or $2, right, for your Game Pass membership every single month to be able to play this game as well. So again, if you haven't played Wizard of Legend, I'd highly recommend picking it up. It's a fun, addicting game, and it's definitely a hidden gem worth putting some time into. But again, guys, let me know in the comments below if you've played this game, if you like it so far, if there's other games like this that you enjoy. Definitely let me know in the comments below. This is one of my favorite styles of gameplay, right? This Roguevania top-down twin-stick shooter type game, right? So let me know in the comments below if there's any other good ones I should check out and that are worth playing. But again, if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on those bell notifications to get the latest updates of new videos we put out here on everything nerdy. And then if you'd like to help us pick videos, support the channel, and more, consider becoming a patron of ours over at nerdproblemsgaming.com/Patreon. Again, that's nerdproblemsgaming.com/Patreon. And if you'd like to plug into our live streams and Let's Plays that we do on the channel here as well from time to time, follow us on Twitch over at nerdproblemsgaming.com/Twitch. Again, that's nerdproblemsgaming.com/Twitch. But once again, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you more soon.